Good morning. Today I'm going to explain the present simple. As you can see in the mind map, I have divided the present simple into two parts, the form and the uses. Let's start with the form. In the first place, you have the form of the verb to be. In this green box here, you see the subject and the form of the verb to be. I am, you are, he, she, it is, we, you, they are. It's important to bear in mind that these three persons here, he, she, it, have the S at the end of the verb because in this case, you're going to see an S as well in verbs that are not the verb to be. And if we have a look at this little chart here on the right, you have three different forms, the affirmative, the interrogative, and the negative. In the affirmative, it is very, very easy to remember that the form of the verb in order to write a verb in the present simple is the first in the irregular verbs. The three columns, you're going to use the first. For example, I read a book. And in persons like he, she, or it, you're going to write an S at the end of the verb. It's very simple to remember. So I read a book, she reads a book. And in the interrogative, you have to remember, this is very important, that we have two auxiliaries. So the verb needs some help in order to write the interrogative. For example, do and does. It's important to remember that does, the S, goes to the auxiliary and not to the verb. So you're going to say, do you read a book? Does she read a book? Only one S, and in this case, in the auxiliary. And in the negative, you're going to write don't and doesn't. Don't for I, you, we, and they. Doesn't with the S for he, she, and it. And remember, just one S, so doesn't in the auxiliary, no S in the verb. And let's go to the uses now. We have three uses. 1, permanent states. 2, general truths. 3, daily routines. In the first one, you're going to have sentences like, I am a student. This is a personal state in your case. In my case, I would say, I am a teacher, or I live in Spain, or I am Spanish. In the second use, you're going to have general truths. These are actions, truths that are always true. For example, the sun rises in the east or ice melts when it is hot. El sol sale por el este, el hielo se derrite cuando hace calor. And in the third use, you are going to have daily routines. As we have seen in the unit, daily routines are actions that are repeated every day. So you have, I get up, I have a shower, I have breakfast, I work, I do the shopping, I walk the dog, I have dinner, I watch TV, or I read a book. In these daily routines, it is very typical to have the actions with frequency adverbs. Frequency adverbs are adverbs that express the frequency of the actions. For example, we have some of them. We have always, we have never, we have sometimes, we have usually. These are frequency adverbs. It's very important to remember that daily routines are associated with frequency adverbs. If I want to form a sentence with a daily routine, I'm going to write the subject, for example, I, and if I want to add a frequency adverb, I'm going to write it after the verb. For example, I never get up before 8, for example. Or I always have a shower in the morning, for example. There you have another example. Instead of I, you have he, she, or it. For example, you're going to have he, the frequency adverb, always after the subject. And then remember, Here, since the subject is he, you're going to write here an S. He usually works in the morning. So as you can see, the present simple, this mind map is very easy. Now you have to copy it on your notebook and you have to memorize it. Thank you for listening.